Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football. We've got your Week 6 tight end start and sit video to help you guys out with your tough lineup questions. And of course, the tight end position is always very difficult to determine who you should put in your lineup. There are very few that are very consistent every single week. Hopefully this video helps you guys out. So week 6 of the NFL is here, and we've got a great game on Sunday morning. Yes, I said Sunday morning. The Jaguars and Bears play in London, which is going to be a great game. And of course, we've got a slate of games throughout the whole day up into Monday night. So this video should help you guys with your lineup, especially for those tough questions you have for the tight end position. Now, this is always going to be based off of full PPR or half PPR. If it is a standard league, it might change a little bit. And of course, if you have questions, hit me down below. I'd love to help you out in the comments section. Now, these are your obvious starts at the tight end position. I've got actually a little decent list here. I'd be a little proud of these players here. I think they've all actually have great matchups, or they're just going to be the consistent enough tight end that you feel confident in putting them in your lineup. Now, the first tight end I'm going to mention as a good start this week is going to be Zach Ertz versus the Ravens. Now, Ertz is coming off an 8-target game, but unfortunately did not really take advantage of it with only 2 receptions. Him and Jaden Daniels just had some struggles getting connected, but Jaden Daniels absolutely looked his way. The Ravens are allowing the second most yards to the tight end position with 74 yards per game. And with the Ravens offense obviously being able to keep up with the Commanders offense, or really putting pressure on the Commanders offense because they're able to score, Ertz could fall into another great game where he's getting plenty of targets his way and potentially a touchdown. Now, the Ravens have not allowed a touchdown yet. A lot of teams have actually been pretty good against the tight end position. The tight end position has really struggled, but this is a game I think Ertz might be a nice little play this week if you have him on your roster. Another tight end I like this week is going to be Theo Johnson versus the Bengals. With Neighbors missing another game, Theo may be one of the players that could take advantage of it. He had a great game last week. The Bengals have had one of the best offensive performances, which I think will keep the Giants in a pass-heavy game script, which allows and only gives the opportunities to Theo Johnson. Now, Slayton obviously had a great game. Wan'Dale Robinson had a great game. And I think Theo is starting to really develop. He's got that connection with Daniel Jones so far. And again, he's a player that is going to take advantage of this matchup against the Bengals. The Bengals last week alone allowed 3 receiving touchdowns to the tight end position. Now, of course, that was the Ravens defense or offense. And the Ravens do like to favor the tight end when possible. And of course, that wasn't Mark Andrews in that game. It was likely. But I will say Theo Johnson, I think, has got a great matchup this week. I like him for that Sunday night matchup. Now, another tight end I really like this week is going to be Kyle Pitts versus the Panthers. And I get it. Kyle Pitts, aren't we all kind of tired of hearing this guy? Like, you've got the talent, you've got the athleticism, and you're just not quite putting it together. But I do like this matchup against the Panthers. Pitts finally had a great game last week against the Bucs for that Thursday night matchup. He finished with 7 receptions and 88 receiving yards. Now plays against the Panthers team that is allowing 9 points per game, which isn't a lot, but enough where, again, Pitts can be a solid play. The Falcons offense should continue to improve. I think, the connection between him and Cousins, I think the whole offense in general is getting better. So I do think this is a great matchup for Pitts where he's going to get at least 6 to 7 targets in this game. Now, as far as tight ends, I'm going to sit this week. The first one I'm going to sit is going to be Hunter Henry versus the Texans. Now, Hunter Henry is off and on. I've seen people put him in their lineup. I've seen some people put him on waivers. You can't go wrong with either way, but this week I wouldn't put him on your lineup. The Texans are the best against the tight end, only allowing 20 yards a game and a total of 3 receptions per game. The Pats will also be starting the rookie Drake May this week, and we'll see how that plays out. This is a tough matchup going against the Texans. The Texans are one of the better AFC teams, and with Hunter Henry really only seeing 3 targets a game his way, this is definitely a sign that I'm not going to put Hunter Henry in my lineup. Another tight end I'm not crazy about this week that you should sit is going to be Dalton Kincaid versus the Jets. Now, I have Kincaid as a sit because I think this is a tough matchup, and I'll talk about some of the stats. I get why you may not sit him because obviously, especially if Khalil Shakir does miss the game from Monday night, we'll see. I understand where Kincaid may get some targets. And sure, the only top tight end really the Jets have faced was week 1 against the 49ers. They played against George Kittle, who put up 8 points. So I understand, again, the Jets defense has not really faced any top tier tight ends. Now, Kincaid, we had some high expectations. I like Kincaid, but I think realistically, this offense in general is not the offense that we're accustomed to with Buffalo, where Josh Allen threw a bunch, 4,000 or 5,000 yards and things like that. It's just not that type of offense. This is definitely a run heavy offense. And in Kincaid, it's going to see some targets, but I think this is going to be a matchup where I don't think the Jets can be high up enough on scores that are going to force the Bills to really at least have to throw. I think it's going to be a really close game, and I think that's going to lean again on the run side, where I think Kincaid will have some trouble really kind of getting open and having a mid game for it. Now, another tight end I don't like this week is another big name is Dallas Goedert versus the Browns. With both Devonta Smith and AJ Brown coming back this week, Goddard's great 2 weeks that he had will unfortunately come to an end. He took advantage of them missing, where he racked up 17 receptions in 2 games and averaged 20 points per game as well. But that was, again, with both those receivers off the field. Now that A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith is back, Goddard, unfortunately, is going to go probably back to where he was, which he was averaging 7 points per game when they were there. That is going to affect him drastically. Now, he's probably going to be in most people's lineups because he has had success. He's got a great connection with Jalen Hurts, and he is a tight end that can make some plays. But the Browns are actually pretty good against the tight end. They actually have only allowed an average of 4.8 points per game and have yet to allow a receiving touchdown. So again, matchup-wise, tough, and you got both, Pro Bowl receivers. Goddard will definitely see a lot less his way and probably have a dud game for you. Now, some sleepers this week, I've got Cade Otton versus the Saints. Cade Otton is definitely getting improved targets his way. He's seeing an improvement in this offensive scheme for him, and I like this matchup against the Saints. And then I've got Pat Freiermuth versus the Raiders. Muth has done a pretty good job consistently getting enough targets because realistically it's George Pickens and Muth, and then obviously you sprinkle in some of the other playmakers on that team, but I really like Muth as a nice little sleeper. So those are my start sits and sleepers for week 6 of the tight end position. Again, if you have questions, hit me up in the comments down below. Make sure you guys hit up the other videos I've got out there to help you with your lineups. Don't forget, 9:30 Eastern, 6:30 Pacific for the London game. Make sure your lineups are ready for that. Subscribe, like, and I'll check you guys on next time.